how to revolutionizing the process and the gracefully responsibility and hidden for their transformation in the regardless of the prosperity for their institutional association in despite of the healthcare sectors and different way of the services which is involving the public and private participations which is working for their health facility which provided for the different way, and it's a scope for their different facility, and it's a supplementary for their society the growth, and it's a regulatory for their transformation which is the advantage, and it's growing for their influential, and it's part of the approach in different way, and it's balance for their regulatory and transformations which is the capacity which have their transformations, and it's a growing for their influential, and it's association for their neutralization, and it's effective for their transaction for their socially, and it's economically procedures the deficiency and transformation which is the requirement, and it's a phenomena of the structural, and it's a lateral of the society, and it's a defining for their associations, and it's strategically efficiency the navigation of the society which have inclusive advantage, and its resources about different functional, and its association for their different inclusivity for their challenges for their reforms, and its execution of working, and its a facility about their referrals, and its insecurity about the structure of the society, how to determining the procedures, and it's a critical advantage for their resources, how to different effective for their transaction, and it's all about their phenomena of the structural, and its resources about different growing, and its influential association for the navigation of the society, and its compartmentalization of the resource efficiency. It is the resources about different growth, and it's orientational for their requirement, and it's a procedure for their efficiency. De-escalation of work, configuration of the society, and its inclusive advantage, and its resources about the different phenomena of the structural, and its resource efficiency which is the procedures, and its gradually transformation. It is the referendums, and its insecurity about the different way, and its challenges for their defining association, the different way, and its balance for their capacity requirement, and thinking about the structural, and its way, and its influential association, the different regardless of the prosperity, and its institutionalization. It is the effective for their transaction, and its role, and its regulatory efficiency, the growth, and its balance for their supplementary for their challenges, the capacity of the requirement, and its phenomena of the structural, and its resource efficiency, how to distinguish and transformation for their different way, and it's all about their phenomena of the structural, and it's a navigation of the society which is the comprehensive, and it's a localization for their prosperity. We have just a compartmentalization of the resources, and it's a going for their influential, and it's association for their different navigation of the society which is the resource, and it's a navigation for their role, and it's regulatory, and it's a growing for their influential association. The core, and it's a belief about the role, and it's a regulatory for their defining association, and its challenges for their capacity, and it's a neutralize the phase, and its balance for their resources in different way, and it's a natural, and its convenience part of the approach which is the influential association needs a role, in its regulatory for their compartmentalization. It is the balance for their resource efficiency which is the navigation in society for their comprehensive advantage for their resources, which is the convenience, and its sentiment about the management of the requirement, how to influential, and it's a growth efficiency. It is the structural, and it's a balance for their capacity neutralization, how to different segments, and its inclusivity for their regardless, and it's a prosperity for their institutional association, then the navigation of the society which have the comprehensive advantage for their socially, and how to the government policy and its schemes which is helping for the elevation of poverty, and its immersion of the socially, economically, and its politically for the different way, and its advantage for the growing, and how to a requirement and its a phenomena of the structural, which is the comprehensive and its socially advantage. It is the challenges for their capacity and its requirement for the defining and its association, the regardless of the prosperity and its institutionalization for their growing and its influential part of the approach, which is the navigations and its socially and its economically procedures. It is the navigation of the society which is the comprehensive advantage for their defining and its association for the different regardless of the prosperity for their institutional association. In the despite of the challenges which is the capacity and its neutralization for their phase, the occurrence of the society, which is the phenomena of the structural and its resources about different growing and its influential part of the approach, which is the navigation of the socially and its economically procedure. The growing and its part of the approach and its navigation for their different advantage and its inclusivity for their challenges, the capacity of the requirement and its phase efficiency. It is the proper neutralization and it's a growing for their influential association for the regardless of the prosperity for their institutionalization. It is the balance for their capacity and its neutralization for their phase and its advantage for their growth and its orientation for their navigation and socialization, which is the comprehensive advantage and its resources about the different fundamental nature and its comprehensive association, which is the challenges and its capacity for their neutralization for their growth and how to navigation of the society, which is the association of the different regardless of the prosperity, the neutralization and its prosperity for the different regardless and its association for the referendums, which is the inclusivity and challenges, the defining and its association for the requirement and its phase efficiency, how to the neutralization and its growth, which is the regardless of the prosperity and its institutionalization for their different way and its challenges. It is balance for their capacity and its way for their balance and its requirement for their phase and its effective for their challenges, which is the neutral efficiency and it's a growing for the requirement for their phase and it's effective for their neutralization, how to different way for the services service sectors and it's a way for their crucial employment opportunity in different regardless for their association and it's a neutralization. It is the effective for their transformations and it's a growing for their influential association. It is the neutral efficiency and it's a growing for their regardless and it's a prosperity for their institutionalization and it's a effective for their transition of the society, which is the comprehensive advantage and it's a role and it's a regulatory for their effective for their challenges and its capacity for their neutralization, the different way and it's a balance for the ecosystem of the society, which is the proper neutralization and its efficiency, which is the core and its influential association for their role in its regardless of the prosperity, how to different challenges and its capacity for their neutralization, the scope and its balance for their regardless of the prosperity for their institutionalization. It is the influential association and its a requirement for the different regardless of the prosperity, which is the comprehensive advantage, how to different socialization and its institutional association. It is the balance for their requirement and its a phase efficiency, which is the comprehensive and it's a crucial part of the approach, which is the systematic and it's a all about their phenomena of the structural, the process and it's all about the role in its regulatory, which is the comprehensive and its socialization, which is the proper neutral efficiency in despite of the challenges and its growth and how to regulatory and its way for their efficiency, the phase and its inclusivity for their regulatory and challenges for their defining association and its way and its balance for their regulatory, how to navigate through the society, which is the compartmentalization of the resource efficiency. We have just determining for the way and its balance for their resources and it's all about the different way and its challenges for their comprehensive advantage, the neutralization and it's growing for their referendums and it's all about the different phenomena of the structural, the resources and it's a gradually responsibility, which is the hidden of their transformations and it's all about the growth and its orientation of the society, how to different way and its balance for their capacity and its neutralization for their phase efficiency, the way and its balance for their capacity, and it's all about the growing and its way for their challenges, how to the navigation and its way for their efficiency, and its a lateral of the sociological advantage, the different data and its statics which is working for the proper neutralization, and its efficiency for their growing and its influential association, the structural for their resources, and it's a going for their influential part of the approach, and it's a navigation for their inclusivity, how to different challenges for their capacity, and it's a neutralization for their role, and it's a regulatory for their advantage, the resources, and it's a growing for their influential association. It is all about the phenomena of the structural, and it's a way of for their capacity, and it's a requirement for their phenomena of the structural for their resource, and it's all about their phenomena and its institutionalization. It is the capacity for their neutral efficiency, and it's a growth, and how to the socialization for their influential part of the approach, and it's a navigation for their different advantage, and it's a resources about different fundamental nature, and it's a comprehensive and its socialization. It is the balance for their capacity and its socialization for their efficiency and its growth. The balance for the requirement and the procedures about their influential association. The different navigation of the society, which is the comprehensive, and how to the neutral efficiency, which is the growing and its influential association for their navigation, which is the compartmentalization, and it's all about the phenomena and its association for the different way for their challenges, and its comprehensive advantage, detrimental determinations for the high approach, and it's effective for their resilient structural. It is the growing and its influential association for the regardless, and its prosperity for their institutionalization, the navigation of the society, which is the comprehensive advantage and social and its emancipation of the all about the different phenomena of the structural and its resources about how to the different navigation of the society. It is all about the phenomena of the structural and its resources about different core values and systematic way of the ideologically, which have the determining and its functional and its association. It is determining and its functional for their association, which is the compartmentalization for their resource, and its allocation of the working and its facility for their all about their phenomena of the structural for their resource efficiency. It is the core values and systematic way of the ideological, which is the transformation and its integration in its part of the approach. How to the different socialization, and it's a growing for their influential association for their different regardless, and it's a prosperity for their institutional association, the different regardless, and it's a prosperity for their institutionalization, and it's a growth for their relentless part of the approach, and it's a navigation for their systematic, and it's a challenges for their capacity requirement, and it's a phase efficiency. It is the rule, and it's a regulatory for their transition for their society, which is the comprehensive advantage for their socially and its economically procedures and its efficiency. It is the challenges for their different compartmentalization for their resource, and its allocation of the working facility about all about their resilient structural. It is the process for the requirement, and it's a phase about the role, and it's a regulatory for the resilient structural, and it's a way for the finding and how to the navigation, which is the like the process for their emancipation of the society, and it's a services for their acquisitions for their resources, but the integration, and it's a way for the process, and it's a segment for their socialization, how to different compartmentalization, and its resources about the fundamental nature, and it's socially and its economically procedures, which is the दिन का टाइम है यार, अभी बज रहा है 3, इतना नींद आ रहा है. It is the comprehensive advantage and its resources about the phenomena of the structural and its resource efficiency. How do the different way and its challenges for their compartmentalization, which is the resources, which is the different fundamental and its association for their defining, and its regardless for their prosperity, which is the growth and its orientation for the different navigation of the society. It is the balance for the resource and its allocation of the working facility, which is the supplementary for the hydrological, which is the transformations, and it's a navigation of the socially and its economically procedures for their effective for their transition, which is the comprehensive advantage. जब मैंने इंग्लिश स्पोकन का क्लास किया था तो उस टाइम मेरे को ए बी सी डी बोलने नहीं आता था। तो मैं सोचता था यार एक एक साल हो गया, 2 साल हो गया, 3 साल हो गया, 4 साल हो गया, अभी तक लोग कुछ समझ में नहीं आया। उस टाइम यार लगता था कि यार लाइफ में कभी कुछ बोल पाया जाएगा कि नहीं पाया जाएगा। फिर एक बार टाइम आया कि यार इससे बढ़िया टीचर के पास चले जाता है, इससे बढ़िया टीचर टीचर बदलने से नहीं होता यार, खुद से जितना जो हम सोचे यार चलो यार इस बार ट्राई करते हैं, देखो ट्राई कर रहे हैं। It is the just comprehensive advantage and its resources about the different growing and its influence. पता है धीरे धीरे क्यों बोलते हैं, इधर सब सुनाई देगा इसलिए धीरे धीरे बोलना पड़ता है। It is the comprehensive advantage and its resources about different fundamental nature and its resource efficiency. The growing and its influential association and its different regardless for their prosperity, for their institutionalization and its role and its regulatory advantage. How to different challenges for their capacity and its requirement for their different way. और मैंने सोचा लास्ट में मैंने सोचा खुद से यार कुछ भी हो जाए अपने से ये स्टार्ट करते हैं, कम से कम कुछ नहीं होगा तो बोलना तो आदमी सीख जाएगा। हाँ इतना भी तो हो सकता है ना कि हाँ थोड़ा मोड़ा बोलना सीख जाएगा, वही काफ़ी है मार्केट में घूमने के लिए। क्या आई थिंक इट विल बी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस एंड मार्केट में घूमने के लिए ना यार, देख रहे हो कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन नहीं ग्लोबलाइजेशन ग्लोबलाइजेशन की वजह से हर चीज़ें एक दूसरे से इंटीग्रेट हो रही हैं। तो कुछ कुछ जो फॉरेन में हो रहा है या कुछ अपने इंडिया में ही हो रहा है, तो कुछ कुछ समझने के लिए हम सोचे यार खुद से अपने शुरू करते हैं। आई थिंक कुछ अच्छा हो जाए, मतलब कि कुछ अच्छा बोलना सीख जाए उसी लिए। ओके I just elaborate the strategically and its efficiency. It is the growth and its balance for the। और मुझे लगता है कि ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए किसी को कि यार हम भाई इंग्लिश क्यों सीखे, हिंदी तो हमको भी आता है, भोजपुरी भी आता है, बोलने बोले तो सब कुछ अवेलेबल हमारा भोजपुरी है। लेकिन कुछ कुछ लैंग्वेज होता है जो सीख लेने पर अच्छा कहीं ना कहीं काम आ जाता है। काम करने क्या होता है कि कुछ अच्छी चीज़ें चल रही हैं फॉरेन में, वो जैसे अभी जो ईरान वाला युद्ध हो रहा है, तो कभी कभी डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प अजीब अजीब इंग्लिश बोलता है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है, उसके लिए दूसरे पर डिपेंड रहो। डिपेंडेंसी किसी पर नहीं रहना, जस्ट बोले सुने समझ में आ जाए, ये चीज़ें होनी चाहिए क्या। इसलिए हम सोचते हैं यार खुद से ही अपने आप को थोड़ा सा पॉलिश मारते हैं, हो सकता है कि चमक से, मतलब एज ए परस्पेक्टिव ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, नॉट ए परस्पेक्टिव ऑफ अदर थिंग्स। ओके अरे कुछ कुछ लग रहा है ना कि मैं सोचे अच्छा बोल रहा हूँ लग रहा है कुछ इम्प्रूव हो रहा है, कोई बात नहीं, शुरू करते हैं, देखते हैं कितना दिन लगता है। It will be transformations for their requirement and its phenomena of the structural and its resource efficiency and different growth in its orientation. But the requirement which is the phenomena of the structure, यार ये सब मत देखा करो यार कि ये बाल ग्रूमिंग वूमिंग कुछ नहीं किया है, उतना क्या ध्यान देना है कि यार इसमें लिपस्टिक लगा कर आना, बाल झाड़ के आना, जस्ट यार सोचते हैं कि जस्ट जैसा भी है वैसे करें, उसको उसमें टाइम ज़्यादा थी, खचर खचर टाइम में क्या फालतू टाइम वेस्ट करना है। जो मेन ऑथेंटिक काम है उसी को सोचते हैं कि डायरेक्ट आए कैमरा खोले बोलना शुरू कर दें। तो वैसे भी एडिटिंग एडिटिंग तो आता है बट इसको करने के लिए टाइम लगता है और बहुत सारा काम पेंडिंग रहता है, तो उसी लिए सोचते हैं कि डायरेक्ट बोलें अपलोड कर दें, डायरेक्ट बोलो अपलोड कर दें, एटलीस्ट कुछ नहीं होगा, थोड़ा मोड़ा तो इम्प्रूव हो रहा है। मत थोड़ा मोड़ा इम्प्रूव तो होता है इंग्लिश बोलने में। ओके ये हमें भोजपुरी, और वैसे देखो भोजपुरी जैसे कि हम लोग का जो क्या बोलते हैं लोकल डायलेक्ट भोजपुरी होता है, उसके बाद से हिंदी होता है, लोकल डायलेक्ट नहीं यार पूरे इंडिया भर में हिंदी बोला जाता है, यू नो। उसके बाद से इंग्लिश बोलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि आने वाला टाइम में जिस तरह से ग्लोबलाइजेशन हावी हो रहा है, इंग्लिश हर जगह ज़रूरत है यार, देखते हैं कहाँ तक पहुँचते हैं। It is the transformation and it's a gradually responsibility which is the all about the process which is the different requirement and it's इतना ज़्यादा हीट वेव आ रहा है, इतना गर्मी आ रहा है बाहर से। अभी टेम्परेचर पता है कितना है, 43 डिग्री सेल्सियस है, समझ रहे हो ना। इसमें और थोड़ा सा और टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा तो खाना बन जाएगा धूप में। It is the transformation and it's a gracefully responsibility which is the core and its efficiency which is the ऐसा लग रहा है कि मुंह जर जाएगा. It is the transformation which is the growing and its influential association for the different regardless of the prosperity, and it's a going for the influential association which is the association and it's a neutralization for their phase efficiency, and it's a growing for their influential part of the approach and different navigation of the society which is the influential association and it's a different regardless of the prosperity. It is the defining and its association for the role and its regulatory advantage which is the proper neutralization and its effective part of the approach. How to the new navigation of the society which is देखो कभी कभी क्या हो रहा है कि मैं जब बोल रहा हूँ ना, मतलब हम बोलता नहीं हूँ तो बीच बीच में या तो डिफरेंट आ जाता है या इट्स आ जाता है या विच आ जाता है, ये बार बार रिपीट होता है तो एक मतलब का बा कि दिमाग में बैठ गया बा ये चीज़ पर निकाले ही चाहता नहीं, तो अब क्या करें, पहले तो लबर सबर बोल बोल के कुछ ना कुछ आ गई बा, अब क्या करें बा कि सोच सोच के बोले बा ताकि थोड़ा सा अच्छा सा और ज़्यादा इंटरलिंक हो जाओ. इंटरलिंक मतलब हर एक वर्ड एक दूसरे से कनेक्ट हो जाए, उसीलिए थोड़ा सा सोच सोच के बोल रहे हैं, वही सोच रहे हैं कि थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव किया जाए. वैसे डेली मैं सोचता हूँ कि यार आज थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव करूँगा, आज थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव करूँगा. As a result, whatever the happening and it's going for the different regardless for their prosperity, but their institutionalization and it's growing for their different regardless of the prosperity which देखो which आया for their influential association and it's देखो it's आया. It is the regardless for their prosperity and it's gradually defining and its association in different, देखो different भी आ गया. ये जो तीन वर्ड है ना ये मेरे को माथा घचरा दिया है, बार बार आ रहा है. इट इज़ द रिलक्टेंस फॉर दियर आइडियोलॉजी. क्या अभी नोटिस करना, देखो बार बार नोटिस करना, जब मैं बोलूँगा एड्स आएगा विच आएगा डिफरेंट आएगा, ये तीन वर्ड है जो ना उसको रिमूव करना है. इट इज़ द डिफाइनिंग एंड इट्स एसोसिएशन फॉर द डिफरेंट. It is the defining for their reluctance and it's part of the approach which is the requirement and its segment for their procedures and its efficiency and its grace of responsibility which is the defining and its association, and it's all about the phenomena of the structural fragmentation of the ideologically and it's thinking about the different regulations for their defining and its fragmentation for their challenges, the scope efficiency and it's a proper neutralization and it's a heat wave which is the coming in the room, and the structure of the environmental which is the process for their requirement. It is the requirement and it's a phase for their defining and its association which is the different way and it's a balance for their reluctance for their ideologically. How to different way and it's a gracefully transformation. The resource efficiency and it's a finding for the neutralization and it's a growth which is the phenomena of the structural and resources about the growing and its influential part of the approach and different navigation of the society. We have just tried to influence the association and its way for their challenges and its comprehensive advantage for their role in its regulatory for their efficiency and its guidance for their prosperity and its institutionalization.